It's one of those things that it's not going to hurt you. There's no downside for any of the stuff that I'm discussing. And when we set up the plan, it should still make good economic sense. Like when we buy a property for someone overseas and have some real estate and things like that, that's cash flowing, that's generating income for you. We're doing it and having the money sit offshore in a company or in a bank account so you have access to credit cards and bank accounts. Yes, you have to disclose things. I'm not talking about doing anything illegal or fraudulent. We're still following all the laws. You still have the right to do all of this stuff. It's just that Canadian government can't get their hands on it, or US government, or whomever, whatever country you're listening to this from today. Just having something on the other side is just always very pragmatic. And even I have this conversation with my team. Like we're a staff of more than 30. And sometimes someone will put something up and it's like, yes, we help expats. And it's like, no, we help anybody. We help anybody to move offshore. If you want to physically relocate and be an expat, amazing. But if you just want a bank account or another piece of real estate or company formation, we can help you with that. You don't physically have to do move anywhere. You can do it from your living room and still reside there for the rest of your life. I just want you to protect your downside. That's all I'm encouraging people to do. And it's like, people who say all these things and do all these things online, and it's like all their eggs in one basket, just makes me so nervous, man. Just so
Yeah.
nervous.
Well, I think, when you talk protect your downside, I just think of, one of the things that COVID taught me is I never want to be caught flat footed again like that. And, when I look into the future, I see problems. I see lots of problems. And some of them are going to come to fruition. Some of them are just noise. Some of them are going to come to fruition, but in 10 years, right? Like it's a slow burn to get to it. And that's a lot to wade through. But when you talk about protecting, like to me, I completely get it. It's something that we should all be looking at. And at times we can get paralyzed in like World War III or something like really like huge. Like all of a sudden the world just stops moving. Or, on the prepper side of it, it's like, a big cataclysmic event happens and we're back in the Stone Age. I mean, it all depends on what level you want to go to, but you can just start really simple things and start, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's like, how do you start prepping? Honestly, you buy some booster cables. You learn how to use them. It sounds stupid, but that's a form of prepping. You want to do things with Mikkel, or go offshore. You start planning a couple things out, and then you go do it. You learn. Maybe you save some. Maybe you start to invest over here, and over time, I'm learning this isn't a race. Like at times there is times to run as hard as you can go. Other times this is a journey. It's a marathon run, and I watch the government just drag things out. And at times we have more time than we give ourselves credit, but we still have to pay attention and be involved and prepare and protect ourselves and all these things that we've been talking about.
We try to do proper threat analysis of all of these things because people have different things that they're trying to protect against. But you definitely have to put in one thing and then we build on that and we put a second thing and third thing. And you look back because, my main work is consulting so that I help families through this, and they all come to me and they're so stressed, so much anxiety, and their shoulders are like all hunched up and they're not sleeping well at night. And after starting working with me, like their shoulders just kind of come down piece by piece by piece, and then their tone of voice just kind of mellows out. And, they just become a lot more relaxed. And I think that transformation for people and relieving that stress is just so amazing to watch. So that's my encouragement to make sure that you are taking these things seriously. And that's why I wanted to bring you on because, as I was saying to you off air, like I don't follow Canadian politics. I am not a Canadian politics expert. I'm down here on the beaches in Panama City, and going out for nice dinners and Michelin star and going to the beach on the weekend and hanging out with my kids and enjoying my life. Like I don't need to follow everything in Canada, but I hear about all of the craziness because my clients who are still there will send me articles or news or
Sure.
clips or things like that. And I'm just like,
Well,
holy
Mikkel,
moly.
I'm not going to the beach. The other day we went sledding or tobogganing or GTing or whatever, speed racing, whatever you sledding. We went sledding in -20, had a grand old time, had a bonfire, and that, like my wife at times come from Minnesota. I mean, they get snow there, but it's always like at least 10 degrees warmer than here. She's like, why do we live here again? I'm like, freaking love it. I love the cold. I love that the Freedom Convoy drove across the frozen tundra at probably the worst time ever to drive in Canada. You get like 6 hours of daylight. It's minus 40 every day. The roads are crap. It's snowing. And yet people, they find a way. We find a way. And yeah, I mean, as far as Canadian politics and being a political nerd, I'm far from it, but I certainly pay attention to it more than most and more than I ever thought. I used to play a little game. I guess I bring it up from time to time, so I shouldn't say I never play it anymore, but I used to wonder what it'd be like to go back and talk to myself 5 years before, and then 5 years before that. And I just, I'm always excited now about the future because no matter where the world takes me, no matter where my feet or my family, it's like there's an adventure there. And with the right mindset, no matter how awful this government gets, its time will come and it'll end and we'll be on to the next. And like, there's such the world is full of possibilities of where we could go. Like, I mean, look, I got Mikkel Thorup to Lloydminster. I'm like, I wonder who else I can snag to come all the way there. Right. And like, truthfully, I see a lot of upside in the future. It doesn't mean there isn't going to be tough days. COVID was tough days, but COVID, the blessing of it was it put me on a completely new path that I did not realize was there. And it's landed me in this seat today and different seats in the future for certain. And so with anytime bad things come, there's also, the opposite that's going to be hidden in there. And if you can find it and run with it, I mean, the world can be a pretty spectacular place.
It kind of reminds me, my very good friend Tom Woods, I started talking to him about this stuff maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And he was like, never will I ever leave the States. He like only the US, just loves it there. And every time I talk to him, it's a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And now I'm going to speak at his Tom Woods cruise next month. And, I'm one of the keynote speakers there. And, he's always just a little bit more, seeing things from a
Wouldn't
different
that be
side. So it'll
something?
be interesting. I'm
The
looking forward
Cornerstone
to.
Forum on a cruise. I don't mind the thought of that.
Ooh, that'd be
I
fun.
tell you what, I'm open to going anywhere in the world. I love the adventure of traveling, and with a young family, you've placed in my brain the realization that you can do it with a young family, and I'm like,
Yeah.
for a long time, I a little bit more like gun trav, like, oh man, traveling with kids is going to be interesting. Now I look at it more of the adventure and the experience for them, and so I'm open to lots of going to lots of different places in the world. I've talked to you lots. I got to go see El Salvador. And at some point, I got to come for a visit in Panama. To me, it's just like you develop these friendships. It's like you should just go see, right? Like, I mean, maybe the best days
Exactly.
are sitting just over the fence or just over a plane ride, and they're right in front of you, and you just got to go find them. And it's very, very possible.
So speaking about kids and travel, I forgot to tell you this when we were doing, when we were on the phone the other day, or when I was on your program. I actually last year took my kids to Northern Cyprus, Turkey, Montenegro, uh, Kosovo, Serbia, Slovenia, Bosnia. I took them to like 10 different countries over 5, 6 weeks. 3 kids, my wife, my mother, and a nanny. We had the whole crew and like a bus worth of gear, and we drove around the Balkans for like a month and a half. Like it was amazing. While homeschooling the kids, and I'm speaking at different conferences and events and stuff, and meeting with lawyers and all these types of things. And it was so much fun. Like it was tiring. It was amazing. But man, if I can do it, you could do it with your 3 kids.
Yes. I'm I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but we're working on things for 2026 on my side of things. Not that your audience, maybe there's some people from my audience listening. I'm probably is a little bit of crossover for sure, but there's some things in the works for 2026 in the future of certainly getting abroad and experiencing some things that way, seeing different, like once again, I always come back to why I enjoy having you on and others, I might add, that are in your guest list and from just different walks of life, different parts of the planet. is you see their perspective, and it's just like it's very fascinating, right? If you respect someone and they say things that go counter to what you think, it's like, well, but I respect them. So they're either lying to me, but if that's true, then why am I respecting them, right? And so it's a little bit of a mind game, and eventually you just got to jump the hurdle, I think, and go see it for yourself. Go talk to them, go see what they see, and then you can, um, maybe report back on the good news or the things you find along the way.
Exactly. That's all I ever ask. Go and make your own decisions, smell it and feel it and touch it and see it, and you know, and then make your own decisions. That's why I love traveling to all these different places because you hear about other people talk about them, and they're like, "This is the axis of evil, and this is horrible, and blah blah blah." And you go and see it, and you're like, "This is actually really cool. Like, this is tons of history and amazing food and very sweet and down to earth people." And it's like, this isn't at all what I was told it is. Like, I
Well,
just want people to see things
so
for
that's what I
themselves.
think of Canada right now. There's a lot going on bad, but you go to the mountains and you're like, still the mountains. Mountains are
Yeah,
beautiful. But there are some
yeah.
things you're like, that's kind of concerning. And I don't see that everywhere, the fact that MAID is being offered to just like anyone under the sun, and we've
You
become,
better
what is it?
explain what MAIDs is because not everyone is going to know that term. I do, but
Sure.
not everyone else will.
Well, so MAID is medical assistance in dying. Okay. So they're going to help you die, right?
They had a hotline.
It started out in, well, and here's the thing: United States has it in, I believe, certain states, but the one major difference is they can't offer it. You actually have to ask for it. In Canada, they can offer it. So the not the running joke, but certainly you stub your toe, you go in for to get it checked out, and they offer you MAID. Right? It's not that far off. It's a little bit hyperbolic, but it's not that far off. And it started. MAID got brought in under Justin Trudeau right at the start of his reign. It had been pushed for a very long time. I don't want to just make it out that he walked in and that was his idea. It had been pushed for a long time. And so it started out with basically foreseeable death. You're 85 years old. You got stage 4 cancer. Just put me out of my misery. I think don't get me wrong. I understand the arguments of why we should never do that. But also I'm like, I get it too, right? I don't know. I get it. But since then, now you have non-foreseeable death. So like you can be not dying and get it. They've offered it to military vets. I mean, like, is there anything more disrespectful? We had a military guy walk in, want to get help, and they offered him MAID. It's like, what? And so I forget. Like, I think the new stats came out. I think it was 13. Was it 13? I don't want to give the wrong numbers here, Mikkel. I know it was 1,000 roughly the first year, and then by 2022 it was 10,000 people used it. It's now 1 in 20 deaths in Canada are are MAID,
Holy
right?
moly.
And so like it's a high number. This isn't
That's
messing around anymore.
ridiculous.
We've become one of the what is it? Because it's eugenics, right? Like you're literally killing
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I forget where we're at on the stat. We're either the number one country in the world now, or we're up there. Once again, I don't want to throw that stat out there and be off on it, but we're high. And like the numbers are just shocking. And probably the more concerning, when we talk about countries and you go and wow, this is beautiful. What's concerning to me is that more people don't find that stat or those numbers or the idea of it like completely asinine. Like this isn't good.
That's
And
gross. I mean,
it's
it's disgusting.
right.
Like,
It's
let's call
insane.
it let's call it what it is. I always heard, and people feel free to fact check me, but I always heard that they had like hotlines so you could call in, like there was like 1-800 numbers about it. Then when there was like on automated phone systems, so it's like push 1 for assistance with this, number 2 for this, number 3, kill yourself. And it was like, whoa, like what is going on here? This is completely bonkers. So you bankrupt people, you separate them from the church, from their family, from society in whole. You shame them. You spend trillions of dollars on brainwashing them and telling them that they're wrong. And then you offer them assisted suicide. And it's like, you guys are pure evil. Like, this is
So this
really,
wasn't a
really
thing,
gross stuff.
even when this first came in 2016, I believe. This wasn't like a dinner table type conversation. But the reason it's coming up now is literally this morning at the coffee table, MAID came up and a guy was talking about his mom, how he went into a local doctor here and had forgive me, is it a kidney infection or a kidney? I want to say kidney infection, like a simple thing. You take a couple of things, and over a couple of days,
Cranberry
it's gone.
juice.
And literally, the doctor's like, "Would you like MAID?" And the nurse is like, "Doctor, it's a simple kidney infection." He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I know, but would you like MAID?" Because once again, the patient's in her 70s, and you're like, "What is going on?" I
I
can't
think you
believe
also
that's a
start to wonder
common
what's the
thing.
incentive program or something like that. Like there could
Sure.
be a, like, oh, for every person that you take through this, you get $4,000 or something like that. Like who knows? Like they governments come up with weird, twisted, sick incentive programs.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
look
MAID
into
is
it.
strange. Um, the free drugs is strange. Uh, the pronouns, everything under the sun of that world is strange. And that right now in Canada is the tip of the iceberg. So when you're talking social norms, social like what people are concerned about, strange. When you look at the land and the area, beautiful. And when you look at certain communities, they're kind of castles being attacked over and over again by insanity. And I feel like the tide is turning, but at the same time, I don't know if it can turn far enough. There's a lot of bad bad policy that's come in, and I don't know how you undo it. I just don't know how you walk everything back. That might be an impossibility.